I know sometimes we've been waiting like this and we're actually on live, and then uh, we're just rapping and talking, and
You're live now.
so we're live. Here we are. Hey everybody, welcome to the Native Wellness Power Hour. We're just coming to you as a response to this COVID relief that started 18 weeks ago. We're on week 18. We're going on 160 something programs that we only thought that maybe we were going to go maybe a month, maybe a couple months long. Now we're looking at possibly into next year. I'm pretty positive we'll be into next year. The program is sponsored by Indian Collective, Indian Collective. So all you folks out there who say Indian all the time, we're a bunch of Indians out there, and Indian Collective, thank you so much. Gonachish. And all those who are out there watching and viewing right now, I just want to say thank you for being here. My name is Tagaban. I'm of the Duck Dane Ton Raven Freshwater Soccer Clan from Hoona, Alaska. Child of a Wishkatan Eagle Shark Clan from Juan. I'm Cherokee, Tlingit, and Filipino. And I'm coming to you live right now from the land of the Coast Salish, the Puyallup people. I'm down here in Tacoma. And I have a couple of my brothers on here. I'll have them introduce themselves a little bit later as we go on. But right now, I just want to just give you an update. So this last week, we did a Native Wellness Yakima Tribal Families COVID Relief. I did a 100-mile ride just because I was sitting around. I wanted to do something, anything. And so one of the things I tell people is that we all have a skills, gifts, and talents. One of the things that I do is I'm a bike rider, and I usually do these charity rides all throughout the year. But all those rides have been canceled. And so I was like, okay, let's make our own. And so this was the first one. It was a 100-mile bike ride to raise funds for the Yakima tribal families. And I just want to thank you all who participated, who helped out, who supported. Many of your prayers, and your prayers are huge on this. And we raised $5,100. And we only went at this for 1 week. In this campaign. And so those of you who are out there who donated, who supported, who sponsored, who sent some prayers, good thoughts, and I just thank you. Gunachish. I know Jilly wanted me to talk a little bit about the ride, and it was a good ride. I've ridden 100 miles many times. Is it easy? No, I'm not going to say it's easy, but I'll tell you what. In 2016, I had a serious accident. I busted myself up pretty good. I had a concussion, broken collarbone, dislocated collarbone, cracked ribs, broken ribs, busted up shoulder, broken fingers. I busted myself up pretty good. And that was in 2016. And it took me for a while, probably this year, finally to feel strong, 100% strong. And so I was like going, okay, let's go for this, and I'm 50 years. I tell people I'm 56 years strong, and I want to be able to keep pedaling my bike until, I'm in my 80s or so. That's just part of my wellness routine, my wellness path that I do for myself. So again, we all have our skills, gifts, and talents. And what's yours? What is your skills, gifts, and talents? And keep doing that and keep moving as we age, especially men. We've got to keep moving. We've got to keep doing, staying alive and whatever it is, and to share. And so I just want to thank you for all your support on that. And so when we're talking about our skills, gifts, and talent and wanting to do something, I brought my two brothers on here. And what we have done, we're working with the Alaska Network on Domestic Violence and Sexual Assault. Because during this year pandemic, during this year Black Lives Matter, it's still climate change, there's still domestic violence going on, the Missed and Murdered Indigenous Women's movement is still going on. The monuments are coming down, Mount, I don't even want to say that name, is still up, and there's so many things going on. But with the Alaska Network on Domestic Violence and Sexual Assault, we still need to get men engaged to stop the violence, the hurt, and the harm, and to heal. And so one of the things that my brothers on here, we decided to do is just to start, we have a program up in Alaska. It's called Compass, a guide for men. And what this is a few years back, maybe about 5-6 years ago, there was a call out by men. They wanted something that they could do to engage their youth, to talk, to get the conversation going, and to be those mentors, to be part of the solution to stop the violence in Alaska. Because Alaska has the highest rate of domestic violence in the country, as far as the state. And so and that's been the ongoing question. How do we get men involved in order to stop the violence and the hurt and the harm and to bring healing to the country and to the state? We have to get men involved. And so my brothers here, I said, well, let's just put this online. Let's start doing it. So that's what we've been doing. We've just been putting this online, going by chapter, teaching people and showing people how to use it and engaging people. And in fact, in September, we're going to be doing a statewide training on male engagement, how to stop the hurt, the harm, domestic violence, the sexual assault, and engage in the healing of men, And so, again, you heard a little bit of who I am, where I come from. So I just want to turn it over to, hey, you guys, thank you for coming on. I know it was a last minute thing that I asked you to come on, and you guys stepped up. You do so many times, and here you are. So introduce yourselves, man. Introduce yourselves. Who's going to go first?
I'll go, I guess. Oh, man, it's so great to be here with you all. My name is Doug Kester. I come from the Germanic tribes way over there. And, I just want to say we were, at one time, we were subsistence people and people of the land as well. And we were warriors, quite honestly. And I'm trying to steer that, my warrior ancestry, to like the warrior of the heart, because that's where I'm at right now. And that's where I feel the world is. And my inner monuments are coming down. I'll tell you that. And every day, man, I'm learning something else, some other breakthrough. And that's what's so cool about these times is there's just movement. I'm feeling energy move all the time. And I'm going with it, because what else can we do? We can't put the dams up and stop that stuff. So we're just letting it flow. And I'm so honored to be here and part of this. And thank you so much for allowing me.
Neat. Ndelawan, Luam Godu, Johan Echohawk Atkinson, DYU, Lakibudip Tegu, Mescala, Alaska, Diwalatku. Hello, how are you all? I'm happy to be here. My name is Johan Echohawk Atkinson. I am of the Wolf Clan of the Tsimshian Nation, and I am here in Metlakatla, Alaska. We are the only reservation in the whole entire state. And I just want to thank my brothers for being here and sharing this space. And Indian Collective, thank you for sponsoring this and making this happen. This is a beautiful thing.
Hey, right on. Thanks, brothers. Hey, thanks, you guys. One thing I do want to start off too, I just want to point it out. We got our brother Doug on here too, and one of the things in our healing too, we talked about white allies, and Doug is definitely an ally in this battle, in this movement. But for myself personally, I don't really refer to many of our allies who I've been working with. I've known them for a while. As just, hey, ally, what's going on, man? Hey, good to see you, ally. No, it's like, to me, they're my brothers and sisters, man. And my brother here, he's been in there, and I truly see him as a brother. And one thing Johan and I have been talking about too is, like, as Doug is coming on here with us, as Native people, we introduce ourselves. We have our certain way. We have our protocols. Where do we come from? Who are our people? Who are our ancestors? And we tell that story and the spirit behind it too. Since we've gone on, I know we complimented. We said this about Doug last week too. Is like, man, your introductions about who you are, your discovery about who you are, and your ancestry, and not only that, your part as far as being a white privilege, man. Bringing that to this, as far as healing of men as well, you know, to this compass, because in Alaska we're native men, yeah, but we were also, you know, there's white, there's black, there's Asian, you know, there's men who are up there, and so it's like, you want to speak a little bit on that, brother?
Oh man, first off, I'd like to also say, you know, I'm on the unceded territory of the Aquan and the Takuquan people, so I want to give a big one on the T shout out to them for allowing me to be here. And yes, oh my gosh. Oh, for one, these guys and other people have been really encouraging me to like find my culture, because it's just a bunch of BS that like the white culture is the norm culture, or whatever the heck that is. And I tell you what, every time I find another piece of my ancestry and my culture, I feel my spirit grow. And I'm not even kidding. Like I really feel it inside, and it's a powerful, powerful thing. And if you have, you know, friends that are white, you know, males or females or whatever, really encourage them, because we're stuck, you know. We got our culture stripped away too. When my family came across, they took our name and they said, no, now you're part of this, you know, thing here. So we really are on a journey of discovery of ourselves too. And let's be clear, white privilege is real, you know. It is like something that we all have dealt with and we're dealing with on an everyday basis, and it's uncomfortable. And it's okay to be uncomfortable, you know. This is part of those things coming down on the inside, those inner monuments of like trying to, like, you know, honestly tear some of this stuff down, be vulnerable, and like figure out how we're gonna like go forward from here, because it's a lot of healing that needs to be done.
Right on, man. I like that that metaphor that you're using, like our inner monuments, you know, that we hold up there, and just like dun dun dun, here I am, man, you know, and they've influenced us in so many ways, you know, and so that's a good way to put it too. And as you said, you know, we've had this discussion too, and I've had this discussion with other white brothers and sisters, you know, and about you know, the assimilation of white people and the colonization of white people as well in this country, you know, as far as whatever that whiteness, and, you know, and even what it is, just to fit in, just to be, you're an American now, you know. And so but there's no definition of what that really is, you know, and so of that self-discovery. And so thanks, brother. You know, and so with that too, you know, it's like we wanted to do something. There's three of us here. We wanted to do something. We have a men's support group, and we were talking about it. What more can we do than to sit on here, you know, and support each other? How can we reach out? How can we reach out to others? How can we reach out to our men and the young teenagers? You know, not only the young teenagers, but there's the 20-somethings that there's that gap that seems like they're always missed. Teenagers and even the young boys to help in the healing, you know, of masculinity in Alaska or wherever we're at, you know. And so here we are. And so you know, you wanted to do something. So what brought you here to do this? You know, Johan, what are your thoughts on this, man?
Yeah, you know, first off, I just want to thank everybody at the Alaska Men Choose Respect organization that have created this tool that we are using, you know. And you know, because we all have responsibility. Every single one of us, we have a responsibility, no matter who you are, where you're from, and we all can learn from one another. And I really love it that Gene and Doug, my very good brothers, that I could learn and have dialogue with you where we can become vulnerable with one another and learn from one another. And having those discussions that we have has helped me along my journey as well, because I'm not excluded from the healing journey. I'm on my own path as well, and I will be the first to admit that. I have a lot of things that I need to heal from. And being able to have these conversations that using tools like this, and there are many tools out there, and this is one that we use, and we just want to share this knowledge, share these resources that we have to be able to help young men throughout the whole entire continent to be able to prevent and undo all the numbers that we are plagued with in this country, the abuses, the assaults, the suicides, because we all want so much more than what our young people have nowadays. And we all have a responsibility. So I, again, thank Gene and Doug for stepping up also and fulfilling that responsibility and helping me along my path as well. And we are very honored and humbled to be able to share and just have us three men have conversations that I feel that young people need to hear, that young men need to hear, talking about emotions, about respect, about self-identity. And I also want to add on what Gene was saying about Doug's journey and his heritage, because one of the things that you have said many times, Gene, have stuck with me, is everybody has a heritage. Everybody has a heritage, and find out who you are, be proud of who you are. And when you have that self-discovery, it just makes your path so much more healthier. And once everybody's on this healthy path, because that's what we all want. We want everybody to be on a healthy, strengthening, healing path and all learning from each other. It's just a beautiful thing. And, you know, I know when we have our videos with these Compass videos, we try to limit them to an hour, but at the end of our video, we're like, man, let's keep it going. Let's make it 2 hours, 3 hours.
So good.
You know, so it's just a really great conversation that we have learned to begin to have. And I encourage everybody to check out these videos. It's just three guys having real conversations that the young people need to hear.
And right on, Johan. Yeah, and that's it too. I mean, we work with we're doing this through the Alaska Network on Domestic Violence and Sexual Assault. I think Doug set up a YouTube channel that we have.
Yeah,
you know?
It's called Alaska Gathering. If you just put that into YouTube, it should just pop right up. There'll be a bunch of hands touching each other.
Alaska Gathering. You know, and you can also download Alaska Men Choose Respect, and this curriculum will pop up in there. And as John was saying too, all it is just a way to just start the conversation. You know, and just there's questions in there. There's a story associated with it. There's a few definitions, but mostly, again, it's the insight and the questions, you know, and teachable moments that it points out in there. And it's a very simple, straightforward guide, which it is just to start the conversation, you know. And you know, we've already done 2 videos, and one is just knowing who you are, knowing your emotions, respect for self. And this week we're going to do respect for others, and just make these available out there. And like Johan said, man, it's just like us 3 guys. We're just like rap and start telling our stories, or just our, you know, because we've done stupid stuff in our lives, man.
Oh yeah.
And you know, not only have we done stupid stuff and that we're here, you know, we still have our limbs. We still, you know, we're still alive after all those things. And if we just share these things with others, you know, other people, just to like, maybe they don't have to go through it, or just to learn how to tell our stories, man. Yeah. Anything you want to add with that, Doug?
Man, I love how you always talk about people are their story. People are stories, and that, man, when you can, like, we don't have all the answers. We don't even have close to all the answers, but that's what's so cool about it. It's like when you start talking, and it doesn't have to be any big thing. We're not saying like, oh, you got to sit everyone down and have this, like, here it is, you're going to have this conversation. Man, it could be at any time, any moment. It could be small moments, you know, and just conversations about you know, like, how am I feeling? How am I approaching this situation? You know, it's so hard because men, I don't know, I don't know where it came from, but somebody had this crazy idea of like men should be like emotionally closed and like only be able to show anger and, you know, resentment or whatever the heck we end up only showing. Men have a crazy rainbow of emotions that so do women have. I have 2 little boys. I tell you what, their freaking rainbow of emotions are like all the time. Like, like sometimes it's too much all the time, but it's who we are, and we got to let out who we are. That's the only way we're gonna really make it through all this on Mother Earth. Honestly, it's just to like share who we are and go forward together, because that's how we're gonna do it.
Right on, right on. You know, and part of it too is like, Johan, you talked about being vulnerable and just talking about our truths and stuff. You know, the thing is that we've had the opportunity to talk about, you know, our stories, you know, and our life stories, and you know, and so that's you know, and again, the story, like you said, it's a powerful piece, you know. And what is your story? Yeah, and not only that, the story of our ancestors too, because one of the reasons why we're doing this too is like, you know, just because gosh, we've been dreamt into existence. I tell people, we've been dreamt into existence, and here we are. And part of me personally, I feel like I have a responsibility. I have a responsibility. Like, what can I do in this world? What can I do in this land? You know, and Doug, you come from a German ancestry, correct? Yeah.
That's right. Yep.
Yeah, and so many people, I've had men come up to me and says, "Oh man, I come from my ancestry. I'm German, you know, and we were part of the World War II, you know, and this and that, and that's all they focus on." But I tell them, but what's your choice though? If you take a look in your lineage, that long lineage you have a choice to pick that darkness, or there's been some really cool people in your past, in your lineage, in your ancestry. You can choose. Where are you going to choose? For me personally, I choose, you know, because I know I've had some darkness in my lineage with people, with family, but I choose those healers. I choose those change makers. I choose those loving spiritual people in my lineage. You know, and I want to tap into that part. I know I can be dark. I know I could be like unhealthy. I know that. And so that's something I'm constantly battling with, that goodness. Because I know that goodness is there in my lineage, and I know that goodness is in here. And I have that. You know, and it's so I'm always struggling with that as well. Because yeah, man, I can. So there's times where I have to be downright mean and ugly, you know. And thank goodness, I'll tell you what, thank goodness I have a beautiful, wonderful, strong, powerful wife, strong, powerful woman next to me who like just stands next to me, sometimes behind me, but when she's standing behind me, she's pushing me. Not because she's being, you know, this less than, but she's behind me, like going, get out there and do it, you know. And you know, so I just want to acknowledge her too, man. You know, and so yeah. So, any thoughts, man, on any of that stuff I just said, or maybe you have something that's on that you want to share right now?
Yeah, you know, I just have to add again on the choices that we make. The choices that we make, we could focus on this little sliver of time of the darkness, or this 10,000 years of greatness that we all have. Every single one of us have 10,000 years of strong, traditional, powerful history and our heritage. And us having this conversation and watching each other grow, and even watching myself grow, it's you know, I'm just really proud to be able to share that space and that choice that we have. Like you said, we made a choice to have this conversation. We made a choice to be able to learn from one another. And when we pick up this book here, I just want to jump into a couple of things. You know, you shared, Gene, that each chapter has a story, and the story is focused around what the chapter is about. For instance, knowing who you are. There's a beautiful story in there that helps young people relate, because we've been telling stories for time immemorial, and through our stories, even through the invention of letters, we've always told stories to be able to teach the values and to bring people together, and to give people strength and to heal. So each story is focused around what is taught in that chapter: knowing your emotions, knowing who you are, self-respect. You know, so I also want to encourage, man, jump on that website and find the resources that can help you. Find the resources that we have in this world, because there are many. We just have to put that effort into seeking them out and learning, just like how we're putting the effort into learning from each other, using this resource. And it's a great thing. And if we all take advantage of it, each one of us can be that change. No doubt about it. And that's something that I know that we will say forever. Each one of us can be that change. We have to do a lot of self-reflection. We have to heal. We have to overcome our own traumas, and just admitting that, and just saying that, yeah, I have my own things that I need to work through. That and just overcoming that, and are working through that and becoming vulnerable. You know, because I'll tell you what, I was well into my 30s before I even said that and acknowledged that. And it was from tools like this, like, yeah, you know, I do have some things that I got to work through. And having brothers like you and having resources like this and support can help us tremendously in moving in the right direction that we want our young people to move in.
Well said, brother.
Yeah. Hey, I want to clarify, because just about vulnerability, because you know, it's kind of, people are like, what are they talking about? It's not just going in a fetal position and being like, I'm vulnerable. It's actually a stance of power and courage. It is, if you are, you know, you can imagine a warrior somewhere, like going into battle. When they make themselves vulnerable, they're doing it to protect their loved ones. They're doing it to, you know, to hopefully define their own power within themselves, and push through it. So it's a stance of power, and it's a beautiful thing when you really tap into it.
Right on. You know, we talked about this in our support group, about, in order to have courage, you must first be vulnerable. It takes vulnerability to have courage, to be able to speak up, to share your story, to share your authenticity and your truths. You have to be vulnerable. You know, if somebody's drowning and you want to do something, you're going to be vulnerable, or to save somebody, or whatever it is. To have that courage, first you must have that vulnerability. And healing takes courage. Healing takes courage. And again, in order to have that courage, we must be vulnerable in order to heal. You know, and that, you know, and part of that vulnerability is to showing those emotions. We went over that. We went over a chapter. One of the chapters in here is knowing your emotions. You know, we talked about that, knowing your emotions, and we all talked about some tears, and you know, and I've learned how to cry, because there was this belief out there, like, men don't cry, you know. And you know, I remember my dad telling me this stuff. He dropped a hammer on my head, man. He jumped off the ladder, and he got down at me, looked at the level. I was maybe about 5, 6 years old, telling him, still 6-year-old man, don't you cry, men don't cry. And I'm like, just got this here knots, it's like rising, and I didn't cry, but it hurt. And then I went inside. My mom goes, what happened to you? I said, you know, Dad dropped a hammer on my head. And she goes, does it hurt? I said, yeah, but he told me men don't cry. You know, and she just got down and she just looked at me and says, that's BS. If it hurts, you can cry. And I just started wailing. I just imagine what my mom was telling my dad later on that night that I didn't even hear. It was like, what the heck are you telling me? There's only 6 years old. You're telling men don't cry? You dropped the hammer on his head. What the heck how did you drop a hammer on his head anyways? And then you're telling me men don't cry. You know? And so there's like, you know, we've shared those tears. We've shared some emotions, you know, with each other. And that's it, man. We're talking to you men out there. We're talking to you men out there right now, you know, and that healing takes courage. And in order to have courage, you need to be vulnerable, because there's a lot of men, you've been hurt. You've been hurt, you know, you've experienced violence, abuse, and sexual abuse, you know, and it affects you. It affects your relationships with yourself, your partner, your wife, and your children. You know, and everyone around you, it affects you. And you know, and so how can we heal? And you know, and what do we need to do? And you know, yeah. So how do we heal, guys? What do we got to do? I mean, again, we don't have the answers, but we're all going through that journey. So what are your thoughts? How do we heal?
You know, I think it's it's a personal journey for each one of us, but it's, to be clear, the one thing we know is it's hard to be on planet Earth right now, man. It's especially, I mean, it's hard for everyone, but we're like, I don't know. I mean, we've backed ourselves in their corner as men, and now it's time to find our way out. And it's not battling our way out by swinging. It's really going inside. And it's really looking at what is going on inside. And quite honestly, it's like the hardest thing for me. I can talk about it, but it's hard to do. It's hard to like sit with an emotion and just feel uncomfortable. And it really is. But for me, like, that's what I'm finding is like, when I go in and I actually feel it, instead of trying to find a distraction, you know, or like drinking or drugs or anything to like distract myself, I just try to honor it, because whatever that is I'm feeling, it's part of me, and I can't run from it anymore. And when I do that, I feel like all that electricity, that feeling that's like a supercharge, starts to dissipate, and I feel this new feeling come in that's like more whole. And that's what it is for me. But quite honestly, it's like an everyday, every moment, watching myself, watching my thoughts, and then sometimes, you know, trying to sit with them.
Right on. Hey, thanks, brother. You know, and before I go to Johan, you know, there's those of you who are watching right now. I mean, just post on there. How do you heal? You know, and what suggestions do you have for men in their healing path? You know, jot those down. Jot those ideas, man, down. You know, instead of we need them. We need them.
I need the help.
We need the help.
Yeah,
you know, and plus there might be men who are watching right now. They might not be saying anything. You know, as men are. You know, but if they're watching those chats, those posts that you're making. So put it down. You know, type them out. So it's like, how do men heal? How do we heal? What do we need to do to heal? You know, so, Johan.
Yeah, that's I love that, Gene. Thank you for saying that, because that's something that I will definitely look back on myself. I want to see what is put in that chat box, because I'm always on this path of learning from others, and I would love to hear from young men, from men, from young ladies, from women, from elders. What do us men need to do to heal? You know, and those words will be heard. So thank you for sharing that, and I look forward to reading that. One of the things just with myself is address the issues that I was taught not to address growing up, to unlearn what I was taught. Like Doug was saying, us men, we were taught not to cry, you know, to always be tough. You know, I'll tell you what, the day that I cried in front of my community of 800 people and the tears just came down, I was liberated. I felt relief. And I'm glad that my sons got to see their father express those emotions. It didn't make me less of a man, and I want to share that with everybody watching. It doesn't make you less of a man with you sharing your emotions and feeling your feelings. You were meant to feel those. We were meant to feel our emotions and our feelings. And if we continue to be on this path of what society is trying to teach men, that we always have to be strong and suppress all those, that's that unbalance that is right now. We have to be true to ourselves. And I love this book. It could really open up the door in conversations, because maybe you've never had those conversations with the young men in your family, with your sons, with your nephews, and just with young boys in your community, because we all have responsibilities, and it takes a village. And that applies to big communities, to cities. It takes a village. We have to look out for one another. That's how we've thrived on this land for 10,000 plus years. We've always taken care of one another. And I just want to share just one of the questions. It's a reflection question for ourselves and for the young men. What emotions are you comfortable expressing? You know, and when you're having that conversation, that just opens up, you know, because maybe that's the first time you've ever reflected on yourself. I know that when I was going through this with my son, you know, I sat down with him. I said, all right, let's just answer a couple of these questions. You know, what emotions are you comfortable expressing? But I took a moment. Well, hold on now. Maybe I need to think about that too. What emotions am I comfortable expressing? So it really opens up the doors and creates opportunity. And you don't got to go through the whole entire chapter. There's just, even if you just read it yourself, there's a lot of great self-reflection and the understanding who you are. When we understand who we are and we're true to who we are, and be true on our emotions and how we want to feel, what we want to say, you know, that's that healing that helps us. You know, that's that, because so many things got passed down from the traumas, the historical trauma. You know, it's proven that the historical trauma gets passed down through our DNA, but also the resilience and the healing and the strength, that also gets passed down. We all have that within ourselves, and us being able to engage in conversations like this really helps us on that journey and opens up doors and opportunities for us to learn, for us to grow, and for us to heal.
Yeah.
Right on, Johan. You have something, Doug?
Oh, no, man, just giving my motion to that.
Because I was just going to say, Johan, now, okay. Now, if my wife is watching me, she's waiting I can see her just sitting there going, yeah, Gene, what emotions are you afraid to express right now? I can see her just going, okay, now what's your response to that one, husband?
And that just shows that, you know, we are on our own path. We are constantly learning. You know, we don't have all the answers, and none of us will ever say that we have all the answers. You know, if you watch our videos, it's just three guys on our own journey, on our own healing path, learning from one another, gaining strength from one another, you know. But yeah, Gene, what emotions are you comfortable expressing?
I mean, I think I think I withhold love sometimes to myself, to my family. You know, it's so weird because we all know love is such a beautiful thing and such a powerful emotion, you know, that can just move mountains. But I withhold it from myself. I withhold it from others. Even, you know, if I feel like I'm wronged or something like that, that's the first thing to go. And I'm like, why do I do that? I don't even know where I learned that. Is it just part of who we are? Or is it some weird disease that we got that our love shuts down at some point?
Yeah, man, that self-love, that that self-reflection. Oftentimes we're willing to give love. You know, one of the things my wife does tell me, you know, is that she'll tell me, it's okay, you can't heal the world. because I'm so just want to do something, help out and stuff like that. You can't heal the world. You need to take care of what's here at our home too. Because there's so many times I just want to go out there and do that. This needs to be addressed. Da, 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 da. You know, and she'll come up and say, okay, we are here, your family, your house, your home. You need to take care of this before you go and take care of that. You know, which is so true. Because
especially in here.
Yeah, especially in here. I got to do my homework. Whatever that is, you know, oftentimes a way to avoid doing your own homework, take care of yourself, is going out there and work with somebody else and focusing on them instead of focusing on you. You know, and I'm guilty of that. And again, that's why I have a beautiful, wonderful, strong woman who is there supporting me, holding me up. And sometimes too, I fall, man. And it feels good to have her support. And it feels good for myself to support her, to help her in that too, you know, and such. So, I mean, I just wanted to point that out too. So, somebody was asking here on the chats too, is, you know, you can go to www, I think it's Alaska Men Choose Respect, and you can download the book. Or I think you can download the book on there, right?
Yeah.
You know, and because people were asking about where can you see this, where can you download the book. I know they're going to be upgrading the site pretty soon, and just we're going to be redoing all this, and so you can go on there. And this is with the Alaska Network on Domestic Violence and Sexual Assault that we work there. You know, although I'm down in Washington, but I'm originally from Alaska, and I've been involved with the healing of Alaska and the peoples up there for as long as I can remember, you know, and so I just can't help but just, you know, everybody who's on here with these chats, man. It's like, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your words and your sharing of this. Instead of just, oftentimes it's instead of just us here just sharing, but it's a participation with everyone. Even with you on these chats, we want your we need it. We need it. And men, we need to hear that. Just like our brother Lyle, when he was with us, he says, you know, what do men need to do to when we're to help out, or, you know, be part of this, an ally for women. You know, I loved his response. It was like, just shut up and listen. Just shut up and listen, you know, and yeah. So
true. And listen, but then also as men coming together as men, or men and boys, I think it's so important. And it opens up, I've really noticed this, like it opens up another part of me when it's just men in the room. And I know that's like been a weird thing or turned into a weird thing, but I think it was a normal part of who we are. Women need their time alone with each other, and men need our time alone with each other. And it's empowering. And you know what? When we do get together, we're like holding each other accountable. It's like, it allows us to be like, when I go throughout my day afterwards, I'm like, I'm going to do better because I got my guys, I got my men who are like there with me, and I'm accountable to them. And I know I'm going to be accountable to them. And it's a really powerful thing. And I really recommend any of you to find a group, make a group, do whatever you can.
Yeah. And that could be a wide range of things. You know, that's why, like when we go hunting with our buddies, or when we're on fishing boats, you know. And I remember when I was fishing out west, and I'd be on a boat with 27 other men, you know, people from all over the world. It was a lot of fun for me, being able to just be real with other men and being able to get to know one another. Because that's one thing that I feel that we don't do. We don't really get to know one another on a level that I've seen women get to know one another. And through this journey on really understanding one another has strengthened all of us, and it's a really great thing. And I just want to I just want to say, as we got to know one another, we've also been able to get to know ourselves, and That's one of the most important things, understanding yourself and accepting who you are, accepting who you are, and creating those spaces, and not, not every man's gonna want to, come up and give you a hug, and like, and and say I love you, but go up to them and give them a fist bump and just telling someone, hey, I got your back. And if you gotta leave it at that, then leave it at that, but just always support one another one way or another, because that's one thing that we have to do is us as men, we gotta support one another. We gotta be there for one another more. I love it when my brothers come up to me and like, hey, Johan, I got your back, man. Give me a fist bump and they walk on. And it's a quick little moment that is meaningful to me. And I know if we create those quick little moments or those big moments, no matter how small and big they are, it it means a lot. I don't care who you are, where you're at on this journey, it means a lot. So we have to step up and we gotta be there for each other. And don't that's one of the things that I think that also we suppress, like with our emotions, where we don't want to show that love for other men, but I tell you what, the day where I was comfortable on my journey, to tell my brothers, hey, I love you, bro, I got your back. And that was it. And there's certain individuals, that are comfortable with different levels of compassion, and that's perfectly fine, because that's who they are, and I honor who they are, and they honor who I am, but I'm a big dude, sometimes I push past that boundary and I just grab people, and I've been saying to Gene and Doug, for a while now, and all the rest of the brothers in our group here in Alaska, when I see you guys, I'm gonna just bear hug everybody, and show that love, show that compassion, because I missed you guys, I missed everybody. We've only been able to communicate through this COVID, during COVID through online Zoom, and that also affects us. And I'm really thankful that we're able to communicate with one another, through the sponsors and through the Zoom to still be able to support one another. Because when the next generation sees me and my village or sees other men showing support one another, even though they're not the young people, the next generation are not involved in that conversation, they're watching, they're learning, and we're undoing what has been undone and showing them the right way, that supporting one another, compassion, showing love for one another, having that self-love, that's okay, and that keeps us strong.
Right on, man. Hey, you know what? During this year, so things got shut down and all that, and we've had to like go and we've gotten to know each other on Zoom. Do you think that if it wasn't for that we would have gotten to know each other as we have now? If it wasn't, for everything shut down and we just start to really connect just with this.
I'd probably be distracted. So I'd be like, I guess, whatever doing at the store, there'd just be more going on. This is my outlet. This is my connection. And the connection is number one for me. Like if anything, any issue, like I feel like connection can heal. Mm-hmm. So I need it.
Yeah, agreed. Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't think we were, we've got to know each other really pretty good, I mean, I can look at you and people look at me. My wife's always looking at me. She goes, "Holy man, you're on Zoom there. You gotta you sure are looking greasy today. You need to do something to that.
You gotta clean up.
You gotta clean up, And so she'll give you this stuff. Put this on your face first before you go on. You're just looking oily, I said, I'm wearing my ending, and stuff like that. But it's even with the other guys that we have a Tuesday night support group with us men. It's just really good to get to know those brothers too, and to share with them. And I think the youngest one is like 28 in the group. We've even had some youngers, and then we've had the wisdom of an elder, and I'm going to say his name too, because Doug Moding,
Amazing.
Yeah, he just comes on and just he's like, what did he say? He's like 72 now or something like that. but it's just share, just starts talking this here wealth of just knowledge, and it's been, that's what we need. We need that again, men, just of all ranges, all ages, of just sharing together, and that's what again we're talking about, those out there. We're talking about a guide from men, Compass, and you can find it on Alaska Network on domestic violence, sexual assault, or Alaska Men Choose Respect. And with the Native Wellness Institute up in Alaska, we call it Compass. With the institute, we call it Men Choose Respect. And basically, what it is what we're doing here. It's about engagement with men and starting the conversation. And the chapters or the subjects are knowing who you are, knowing your emotions, respect for self, respect for others, communication, conflict resolution, and becoming man or becoming that human being. And there's resources in here, and all this is a curriculum, and all it is a guide to get the conversation going. And we've been making, the three of us have been putting out and creating these videos, a video series on this, just with conversations. And it's on, again, what was that YouTube channel again, Doug?
Alaska Gathering. Just search Google Alaska Gathering or put it in YouTube, and should pop right up.
And I think we're going to be sharing it too on the Native Wellness Institute site as well, just to make it available for those who would like to take a look at it. And we're planning on also putting out some other snippets, small videos, because not everyone wants to watch an hour video, man. Sometimes we're just there. We just want to scroll. We're scrolling, and all we want to just take maybe a couple minutes. And so Johan he's using our skills, gifts, and talents, and he does a lot of video editing. So he's planning on doing some of those snippets of our conversation, because there's parts of it too. It's that pretty insightful, and I'm like, oh wow, that's really good. We need to share that with more people somehow.
And I also want to add on that there's parts where it's really good, and there's parts of it where we're also learning, where maybe it's the first time that we are going through these questions and addressing issues with ourselves, because we don't have all the answers. But I want to share with everybody watching who downloads this and go through it and go through all these questions with yourself and see what it has to offer. And then create opportunities for the young people, because sitting down at a table and say, okay, we are going to be going through this compass, sometimes isn't always the best approach. But the questions in here, you could take, and like with my sons, I like to play games with them. And, I play Fortnite with them, and we're sitting there playing video games on weekends. And then I ask them questions, while we're playing, what does self-respect mean to you? How do you talk and view yourself? But not in those words, make it your own. Make it so, because the young people in your family. Make it so you can still ask these questions, but change it in a way that can relate to them and that can relate to you. So there's so many opportunities that you could create with the boys, with the young men, and even with the men in your community. And so again, this book right here and this resource, once you download it and think about how you could create those opportunities. Maybe it might be after you tell your family, hey, we're going to order 3 pizzas from Pizza Hut, and everybody's happy. Yeah, and then during those moments, you could pick out what parts in this book, the questions, because it really helps you zero in on helping the young people understand themselves and ourselves. So there's 100 ways to be able to create that space, and everybody watching and everybody that watches this later on, you guys can create that space. You got to get creative. You guys understand the young people in your family and in your community. Make it happen. Ask these questions, because a lot of times it's the first time that a young person hears those questions. When they hear is, what are 2 memories of people treating you with respect and disrespect? There's so many things in here that you could pick that will help the young people and the boys and the young men in your community. You know, it's just we gotta step up. We gotta make it happen. And you guys can do it, no doubt. You know, there's many resources in here, and you guys can be that change. You guys can help the young generation be strong and healthy. You know, and that's what we all want. We want a generation of powerful, strong men that will provide and protect, and that will
Yeah.
and then they will keep the next generation. You know, 7 generations down of all these healthy people. You know, but we gotta do the work. You know, we have to understand ourselves, and we have to be able to use what we have. And sometimes we don't have the right words, you know, because maybe it's the first time that we are learning it. But you know, there's resources out there, you know, and use them. You know, we gotta use them, and we gotta act on it.
Right on, man. You know, as we're coming to an end, I was just taking a look at the these posts on here with the chats, you know, and there's some really great insights. So if definitely take a look at them. You know, Brother Will, you know, water's the first medicine. We are the second medicine. That bond, the family, the friends, you know, family healing. You know, and looks like somebody's looking to, if there's any DV counseling out there, because she has a partner that's looking for DV counseling. You know, and you know, that's something. Those resources, try to find those resources. You know, and it's out there. Maybe we have to start. It's one of those things like what we've done here. We're creating something that's new. I mean, things are like the new normal, and this is going to be the new normal. So it's like these, you know, these counseling, these services online or whatever. Is like that's, you know, maybe we have to create it now, and so you know, and thank you so for everybody on the site here, you know, and taking time for each other. Healing starts, you know, with being honest with women too, you know, and those partners in our lives. So the healing of men. Hey, everybody.
Really quick.
Go for it, Johan.
Also, you know, it was great that everybody shared on what men need to do, in their opinion, to heal. I love that. You know, also share the resources that you know that can also help men. I want to give a shout out to my brothers at wekaalgi.org. wekaalgi.org. They do a lot of work, you know, helping young men and men, you know, and so share all the resources that you know in the comments to help everybody have as many resources and sources that we could go to learn from, to heal from, and for us to use on ourselves as well.
Yeah, this year with the Compass, Alaska Men Choose Respect is through the Alaska Network on Domestic Violence and Sexual Assault, and they're a huge resource for up there in Alaska. And so we've come to the end of our time here, with Compass, right on, and I just want to thank the Native Wellness Institute. You know, we're here to keep our ancestral wisdoms alive, keep those ancestral wisdoms alive. And thank Indian Collective for your sponsorship to keep these going, to keep these up, and so we get that healing out there for all people. You know, and I want to thank my brothers that came on here. You know, and Doug and Johan. Any last minute words? Any closing words as we're like moving on here?
I just want to send my love to all those people hurting in some way, and know there's always hope, and it's like take a step towards healing and connect, man. I feel like connecting inside, connecting out, just do it, because that's what it's going to take. We gotta go forward, and we're going to create a beautiful world.
Well, brother.
Yeah, that's right. And I'm just going to go off that, you know, for all the men, young men, you know, just take that journey, take that first step. Sometimes the hardest thing that we could do when we look ourselves in the mirror and say, okay, I want to heal. When we look ourselves in the mirror, I want to take that first step, you know, and reading this book and answering those questions for yourself, that could be that huge first step. You know, sometimes it's hard, but you can do it. No doubt about it. Man, you can do it. You can overcome the traumas, the hurt, and be that healthy man and human being that our communities need. You know, you can be that change. And we will say that till the end of time. You can and will be that change. You have a lot of men, other men that will support you.
Right on, man. Right on, brother. You know, and if we can come to your community, we're going to hold a training. Keep an eye out for the training in September with Compass up in Alaska. You know, Men Choose Respect with the Native Wellness Institute, you know, and other trainings coming up. If we can come to your community, your organization, let us know. So with that, thank you. Thank you all for being here. I'll probably see you guys tonight, you know, and it's a Tuesday night.
Yeah.
Enjoy the rest of your day, brothers.
Love
All right.
y'all.
And everyone else out there, thank you so much. Bless.